Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to the video, and that is the Tamashii Nation Store exclusive S.H.Figuarts Naruto Uzumaki Battle Scarred Edition figure right in front of you. Yeah, so this went on sale today in Japan. So the Tamashii Nation Store is in Tokyo, there's a small one in Osaka, Shanghai, and then New York. I think that's all of them for now. So this should be available at all of those stores. May not go on sale at the exact same time in each branch, but definitely keep an eye out for it in stock if you are close to one of those stores. Now in Japan, this is limited to one per person. You need the Tamashii Club account. You also get your photo ID taken and all that. So it is strictly monitored to avoid scalpers. Now, if you're unaware, previous releases, I think it's like the World Tour Goku especially, there was huge issues with scalpers, so they've really cracked down on it, which is awesome to see. So yeah, this is essentially a re-release of the first of the 2.0, I guess, Naruto line, or Naruto Uzumaki figure. So we will have a bit of a comparison between them. For articulation, you can go check out the review for this figure, as I won't jump into it in this video. I will put a link in the description below that if you are interested. Now you'll see the main difference when I do open it, besides a couple of accessories, he is battle damaged. Not really damaged per se, but he's, it's from middle of a battle, he's all dusty, covered in grime, so it has more weathering on it, which I think is really cool. It's a nice subtle way of doing it, and especially it's a good way of doing a store exclusive where it's not too different from the other releases if you don't have easy access. So yeah, as with all the other store exclusives, a lovely black box with kind of just a base figure image on each side. No real details on exactly what it comes with. Most actually have a box right here, right? On the back we normally get a selection of images showcasing all the different accessories. In this case, very minimalistic design, which I think is really nice. But anyway, let's pop him out of this box and we'll have a look at what he does come with. Okay, so we have the store exclusive on the right. The left is the first base release for the comparison. You may already be noticing a color difference in the body, with the original release being that vibrant orange opposed to a more muted, subtle, I guess burnt orange for the store exclusive. But we will check out the finish shortly. But first, yeah, you'll probably be noticing a difference in the accessories. The main one that sticks out is obviously the folded arms. Instead of that, we get a giant dicing gun, which is looking awesome with some really cool texture. The base dancing gun is also there, but it has a subtle color difference. I believe the design is the same otherwise, but we will compare that in a moment. Now for the faces, we have the same base kind of mouth open smiling, cubey face, mouth open, goofy look, but instead of the neutral face, we get an additional hand, which has the socket for the dancing gun, whereas the original one only came with the right hand. This time we get right and left. Besides that, the hands are the same, spread, jutsu, one's for holding onto the kunai. It does come with a single kunai like the original. So yeah, overall, I think it's actually a really cool release. I'm not a big fan of the folded arms, so I'd much rather get the dusting gun effect, which is looking really cool. The lack of one faceplate, I think that is okay for this one, because this is more of a battle one anyway. So I'd rather switch out that neutral face for that hand for more options. So definitely nice to get that, a subtle difference here with this release. Anyway, let's pop them out of the packaging so we can take a look at the overall finish. Okay, so both are swinging around here, and straight off, check out the dark orange on them. We have weaving scattered throughout the body, which gives them a dusty look, which is especially noticeable in their sandals. And it appears like the colouring, or the print colour, is actually split on the jandals. Yes, we have a lighter colour placed for the underside, which is really cool. So it definitely lends into that muddy look. And one thing you may not see straight away, his hair is actually a little bit dimmer as well, so it's not as vibrant, which is cool. And then on the hands and faces, we also have printed scuff marks. So really subtle line work there for a bit of a muddy, gritty, dirty look on him. So overall I think it's a cool effect. It's not the full battle damage with ripped clothes, blood, gashes or anything like that. It's just more subtle. He's been running through the forest, through the desert, thrown to the ground, skidded along. It has that type of feel to it, which is really cool. I'd definitely like to see something similar in the future, but instead of kind of muddy, dirty like this, have him, the white one, the kind of failed Bunsen clone, or the kind of one that's just vanishing or just coming, or just being summoned. Something like that would be actually a pretty fun effect to have with the Naruto line. But yeah, besides that, the colour separation all looks nice. The zipper and all the other printing on the parts is definitely looking crisp and clean. So yeah, let's pop them off and we can have a look at each of the individual faceplates in a little bit more of a closer detail for that damage. Okay, so the base smiling face here, we can see the extra colouring and the detailing around the side of his face to give him that withered look, which is nice. Again, everything is quite subtle. It's not really too in your face, which is good, especially when you kind of look at him from arm's length, or when he's in your collection surrounded by other figures. Okay, so we have the QB face on here, and one thing to point out is the scuff marks that are scattered around the face appear to be exactly the same for each of the face plates. That's not an issue or anything like that, but I just wanted to highlight it. I also have the original release here just to also highlight that with the QB face here. We have one other small difference, and that is there is more yellow around the mouth on the new one, whereas the printing on the original is a lot more thinner. So that is one extra subtle difference with the new QB face. All the other faceplates appear to be the same with each other, besides the extra the scuff mark printing around the sides, but with the QB one here, that colouring around the lips is one extra difference. And then up next is the mouth open one. Again, all the printing is crisp and clean, and we get the same scuffed damage on the side and around his face. And then finally the classic mouth open, white pupil, goofy look. I love the addition of these faceplates with the Naruto line. I can never get enough of them. But again, as I mentioned earlier, all the printing is the same. Crisp and clean and looking really cool. Okay, so for the Rasengan effect, as we can see, the new one is huge in comparison to the original. Lovely texture as well, got nice swirls going all the way around it, which is cool. And then the smaller version, which is the same design as the original, however the colouring is different. So the original one had more of a teal colour, with the white cap or white painting on top, whereas the new one is a little bit more of a metallic-y blue finish, which again I think the metallic colour is a little bit stronger on top, or ever so subtly on top, so it does give it a different finish or a different look. It does pick up the light more, it is more reflective. I think that it's just due to the metallic finish. It also appears that the big one does have a so the big one also does appear to have a subtle metallic finish to it as well, though it is quite hard to see, but it does pick up the light beautifully. Check that out! I think this is cool. The massive size of that Rasengan is cool. I like the different colouring, the weathering on this figure. Yeah, it may not be to everyone's taste. Is there better battle damage figures out there? Sure. But I like this take on it where it's a lot more subtle and it gives us extra options. I definitely dig the colouring of the feet especially. I think it blends in really well. And it's cool that each of the hands as well also come with little scuff marks. So it's not just limited to the faceplates either. So just a real simple pose using that new Rasengan, and yeah, overall I'm definitely digging their big size, and I hope we get more giant effects like this for the Naruto line. Okay, so I've set up the new Rasengan, or the small one I should say, the new small Rasengan on the brand new hand for holding on his left side, which is cool. Now obviously, you know, with these you can mix and match with other characters, have a couple more helping him out, do the forming of his attack. Or you can, you know, maybe have him holding two balls and charging in to, you know, annihilate the enemy, which is cool. Oh man, it'd be fun to get some like basic Naruto bad guy henchmen, you know, maybe some of the the Obito clones and stuff in the future. They're definitely quite fun to make a nice big battle setup. Okay, let's jump into some pros and cons for this release. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to check out the full articulation on this figure in case you are new to the Naruto line, check out the review for the original release at the back here, which was Naruto Uzumaki, the Jinjuriki Entrusted with Hope. Yes, so very long names these figures have. Now, coming into the exclusive here, straight off the pros, that huge Rasengan is awesome. The fact that we also get the left hand for holding onto it is cool. And I love the overall finish. Now personally, ever since this was announced and shown off, I really digged the subtle, dusty, withered look. And seeing it in person, I mean actually I've seen it in person from the shop, I never noticed how cool the sandals are with the extra lighter brown colouring for the actual plastic on the bottom, and then the weathering all the way up and through. Adds a little bit more of a dimension to this figure, which is really cool. Now I obviously love the original Naruto with that deep dark orange. Love orange as a colour in general, but the more subtle muted look for the new one is really cool as well. Now moving over to the cons though. Now obviously the main con for this one is, as it says in the box right, store, Tamashii Nation store. This is an exclusive to the shop, which means it's not an easy figure to get. I'm all about availability. I want equal access for all fans, no matter what country you live in. Obviously they can be a lot harder to achieve than what people would like due to, you know, rights holding, you know, for the IP, who has, you know, distribution rights here and there. You know, there's a lot more complexities to the topic than what we would like to admit. But for something like this, it is a cool store exclusive version where it's not drastically different. It's not a brand new mold like if you think about the Dragon Ball line with Super Saiyan 2, you know, the blue shirt Goku, which hasn't had a release anywhere else. But this one here, same body, same faces, just with weathering, though we do get a new effect. It's a little bit of a nicer trade-off, but still I would love to see this open up for everyone else, you know, even if it's just a limited run on Premium Bandai, to give people that don't have access to a shop. Now with a store exclusive opposed to an event one, the benefit is you can always just pop into the shop and pick it up. They'll be selling in there. If they decide to stop selling, from memory they do put a notice, at least with the older stuff in Japan. They'll say, you know, the Saint Seiya figure, they'll stop the, you know, the sale of it in 6 months time. So that we should get a warning, so it shouldn't be too hard to get. So be patient and, you know, try and organize a trip. Come to Japan, pick one up way over here. It'd be a, you know, one good reason to come on over. But yeah, the other con, actually, you know, that's really it. The price is a bit higher. Obviously this is a budget release, and you know, they know if someone's going to buy Naruto, you're not going to buy one, no, buy two, and then there'll be people that buy 3, 4, 5. Here's one of the main characters, so everyone wants them, and then a lot of people will army build as well, you know, for those clones. So you can get away with a cheaper price point overall, because you know you'll be selling a lot more. Probably with the store exclusives, that isn't quite the case. So the price is at the normal kind of a retail figure release of that 5,500 yen range. So obviously more expensive than the original, though the weathering, bigger effect, you know, that will obviously add more costs as well. So I think overall the price point isn't too bad, and it is in line with what I'd expect for a normal retail release, especially one at the Tamashii Nation store. So yeah, that is it. Overall, I love it. I think it is a, maybe not a must-have for a collector, but it is worthwhile picking up if you are deep into the Naruto line. But be patient. Don't pay those scalper prices. Wait. Hopefully you've got some friends that can pick one up for you. New York store. Or maybe if you're in Hong Kong, somewhere like that, maybe you've got friends, they can pick one up from like Shanghai or vice versa. Try to leverage that. This is one good reason about making friends in other countries and in the community. We can all kind of help each other out when it comes to these exclusive releases. But yeah, definitely drop a comment below what you think about this release. Do you like it? Do you want it? And what other characters would you like to see with this finish? I think it'd be pretty cool to get like a Sasuke and even a Sakura one, to be honest. It'd be nice to have a whole team now. Have a few more characters for that battle. It's always kind of odd if you do like a battle photo or a scene and everyone's like pristine clean, like they've just stepped out of a dry cleaners, right? So it's nice to get some of those a bit more of a, more natural looking, I guess, and a bit more of a dirty look. So definitely one style that I'd like to see used in other figures going forward. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers!